CID hunts for Karuna Amman in the east. Mahindanand Alutgamage says he has submitted evidence on match fixing at the 2011 Cricket World Cup final. Prasanna Ranavira claims Chile attack in parliament was to protect democracy. Russia celebrates 75th anniversary of victory over Hitler's Nazis.
Good evening and welcome to News First Primetime News. Now for those stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has warned that negligence can lead to the second wave of COVID-19 in the country. The president made this remark in a post published on his Facebook account. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's COVID-19 cases has risen to 2001.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that Sri Lanka has achieved a remarkable victory against COVID-19 due to the collective effort, while all countries in the world are suffering from the virus. In a Facebook post, the president stressed that the COVID-19 virus is yet to be eradicated from the world. Accordingly, he urged the public to abide by the health measures based on government directives, as negligence could prompt the coronavirus to start spreading again. 40 patients had tested positive for the virus yesterday. The Department of Government Information said that among them were 29 Indian Navy sailors who had arrived from Mumbai. The other 11 were those who had arrived from the United States. Meanwhile, 22 patients had recovered from the virus yesterday, bringing the total number of recovered patients to 1,562. Meanwhile, a special molecular biology lab that can carry out 500 PCR tests had been opened at the Colombo East Base Hospital in Mullaeriyawa today.
PCR parikshana lakshya.
We have been able to carry out 100,000 PCR tests as a country. We were able to conduct sufficient PCR tests and identify the patients to separate them from the society. We have been able to eradicate it almost completely from the country.
Health trade unions had pointed out that the random testing process must be carried out more efficiently.
Random PCR tests haven't been carried out efficiently. We have observed that tests are carried out only at selected locations. However, as the Association of Medical Laboratory Technologists, we are not aware of the existing process. If the lack of funds is a barrier to carry out more tests, then we would suggest that at least antibodies must be carried out other than PCR tests. If we are to prevent a second wave of coronavirus infections, we should be able to confirm that there are no coronavirus patients within the community with the commencement of the election period.
Now making headlines this evening, the Criminal Investigation Department has appointed a team headed by an Assistant Superintendent of Police to investigate the statement made by Vinagamurthy Muralidharan, also known as Karuna Amman. SSP Jali Senaratna said the team has been deployed to the eastern province to collect evidence.
The team headed by an ASP has already begun investigations. Several statements are scheduled to be made. There is also some information to be collected for legal requirements. Once the evidence collected by the team is presented before courts, the Criminal Investigation Department will make arrangements to record a statement from Karuna Amman.
The Criminal Investigations Department has summoned Karuna Amman to appear before the department to record a statement. However, the police said that he has informed that he is unable to appear before the CID as he is unwell. Meanwhile, civil activists and political representatives lodged complaints at the police headquarters and the CID today.
He has admitted that he is guilty. This is sufficient under the sentence 290 of the Penal Code to arrest him. They are applying a different law to the general public. If myself or someone else has made this statement, they would have assaulted us or produced us before courts. We only believe in the president. We ask the president to directly intervene and produce this man before the law. Why are they afraid of the law so much? They are the people. Tell the people of this country who is protecting Karuna Amman. The country is being
Protests were held in several parts of the country opposing the statement made by Karuna Amman. Former Minister Mervyn Silva also attended the protest that was staged in Anuradhapura.
I blame the government. The government is led by a former member of the forces, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He and I are both from Ruhuna. If you have the strength, arrest the murderer named Karuna Amman.
Another protest was staged in Anuradhapura today. These were the views expressed by the Mahasangha with regard to the statement made by Karuna Amman.
We want to show that the law is practiced in this country and justice is served. We can't let one person take that away from us. If he is wrong, he should be issued a charge sheet and produced before the law. Justice should be served for everyone. We expect the government to do that. This government was appointed for that. We would like to remind the government that we are closely watching. The IGP and the CID must take this over and look into it. That is their responsibility. That is their duty. They are committed to that. Everyone knows that he is involved in the Bhikkhu murder in Arantalava. We also know that he is involved in the attack on the Sri Mahabodhi. He is also involved in the Dalada Maligav attack. According to what he is saying, he is also involved in the Elephant Pass attack. The government also knows this. Only the babies are not aware of what he has done. What is the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna saying about this? What is Gotabaya Rajapaksa saying about this?
Podujana Peramuna මොකද කියන්නේ? අද ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා මොකද කියන්නේ?
Karuna had delivered a speech stating that what had been done was wrong. However, Karuna did not say as to who supplied them weapons. Who supplied them weapons? Who gave weapons to Karuna and the LTTE? Do you remember that? It was Sajit's father and no one else. It was Premadasa. Why were the weapons given? That was to kill the Sinhalese people and to attack the army. Otherwise, whom would they shoot? The children of those who supplied weapons to attack the army are shouting against Karuna Amman. I will not talk about Karuna Amman's history. You know that. In which period was that? You know who bought him and what happened afterwards. Therefore, that is a separate story. I do not want to talk about that as there are children here.
Although Karuna had defected to the government, he was of no use to us. He had stayed with Prabhakaran in areas in the north such as Pudukkode. He didn't even give us information on Prabhakaran's residence, although we captured it. He wasn't capable of providing us military strength either. 150 people defected to our side along with him. 80 of them were below the age of 13. They didn't have military strength. Karuna Amman, who was in such a position, is making these remarks now. The law must be enforced against him.
The CID can visit homes and record statements. We will not attempt to sweep investigations under the carpet by exerting political pressure. If he wanted to do that, the CID wouldn't have recorded a statement. Karuna Amman is a former LTTE member. However, he left the LTTE and fought against them while upholding one state ideology. At that time, there were Sinhalese state leaders who supplied weapons to the LTTE and killed our own army personnel. If that is the case, conduct an investigation and reveal those who supplied weapons.
Karuna Amman was one of the commanders of the LTTE. The government has not filed criminal charges under the Prevention of Terrorism Act against him and Kumaram Padmanathan, who led the LTTE after Prabhakaran's death. They are now at large. Steps were taken to enforce the law against Pillayan. However, there were no definite charges against Karuna Amman. He has now confessed. Therefore, this is the opportunity to do that.
If the police or criminal investigation department had issued summons, anyone has the right to abstain from appearing before those institutions if there are practical difficulties. We must allow that right to be practiced. He might be having certain problems. However, that does not take away the seriousness of Karuna's statement. Sometimes Karuna might have assumed that such a statement should have been made to become a hero in the north. However, historically, this is a massacre. If he is admitting that he is a murderer, then he must be punished. That is the law of this country.
මම කියන්නේ CID එක
There is no need for the CID to go in search of Karuna. If the police is instructed to obtain an arrest warrant from court, they will be able to arrest him. The CID does not have to get involved. The CID officers will visit the area and return saying that he is not there. That is what will happen.
CID එක මම රවුමක් ගාලා වෙලක හිටියේ නෑ කියලා. මොකද
I feel that it is a good thing if Geneva had been listening to Karuna Amman's remarks. The Western countries who point fingers at Sri Lanka won't utter a single word regarding that. It is good that Karuna Amman said something like that to make other countries aware of the cruel and inhumane nature of the LTTE members.
ජනීවා රටවල් වලට දැනගන්න කොටි හමුදාවක තිබුණු කොරිරකම හා අමනුෂ්‍යකම.
A protest was staged in Serani, Mahiyangania today against stone quarrying in the area.
The protest was staged near the 46th mile post on the Mahiyangania Ampara main road by residents in the area, citing the several difficulties faced by locals due to stone quarrying in the area. They claim illegal stone quarrying is being carried out by several factions whose licenses had been cancelled. Despite such protests, some locals share a different view. As the protest hampered vehicular movement for about 1 hour, the police arrived as well.
Look at this. My son was hurt. Who will take responsibility for this? They told us they will give us 5,000 if we withdraw the case. We will continue to protest until the divisional secretariat arrives.
The protest continued for several hours. After a Venerable Thero contesting the upcoming election arrived, a tense situation arose.
බලන්න එතන ඉන්න තැනකට වැඩිය මෙතන කචාරක ඕනේ අපිට ජීවත් වෙන්න විදිහක් නැහැ කියන මිනිස්සු කොට බලන්න මේ ව්‍යාපාරිකයන්ට මේ ගල වට වෙනකම් ඉඩම් ටික දුන්නේ මේ උද්യോഗ සේවකයන් මිනිස්සු උම්ම ගල් ටික විකුණලා අද උම්ම උද්ඝාටනය කරනවා එතකොට මේ කාටද මේ ප්‍රශ්න කියන්නේ ජනතාවට වෙන පීඩාව අවම කරලා දෙන්න අපි නිරන්තරයෙන්ම අප ගාපේන මේ සියලු දෙනාම.
The protest continued for about 2 hours. Subsequently, the protesters dispersed.
Concerns regarding the East Container Terminal in the Colombo port has arisen once again. During the previous government, the construction work of the East Terminal was proposed to be carried out as a joint venture involving Japan, India and Sri Lanka. However, concerns have arisen once again over the risk of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority losing ownership of the terminal. The Colombo port currently consists of 3 main parts. A majority of the shareholding in the Colombo International Container Terminal, more commonly known as the CICT, is owned by China. The South Asia Gateway Terminal, also known as SAGT, is owned by Sri Lankan international entities. One of them is the Jaya Container Terminal, also known as JICT. It belongs to the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. This terminal is located adjacent to the Colombo port city. As a result, a terminal of sufficient capacity for the Ports Authority to dock large ships does not exist within the Colombo port at present. Against such a backdrop, the East Container Terminal is being developed to accommodate large ships. The Ports Authority commenced development at the East Container Terminal with the funds obtained from a state bank. The UNP faction of the Yahapalanya government made continuous attempts to operate the East Container Terminal as a joint venture between Sri Lanka, Japan and India, despite India already having 13 major ports. However, upon the intervention of then-President Maithripala Sirisena, the National Economic Council on the 6th of June 2018 suspended this decision and decided to develop this terminal as part of our country. Accordingly, during the 52-day change in government, cabinet approval was granted to import the necessary equipment for development activities. However, when the UNP-led government came into power once again, then Ports Minister Sagala Ratnayaka had once again prepared a document to operate the East Container Terminal as a joint venture between India, Japan and Sri Lanka. At present, 3 gantry cranes imported from China, which have been paid for by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, have arrived at the Colombo port. However, since last Saturday, the cranes are yet to be set up at the East Terminal. Trade unions of the SLPP claim that certain powerful officials are attempting to revive the plan to operate the East Container Terminal as a joint venture between India, Japan and Sri Lanka. Trade unions have repeatedly emphasized that the East Terminal can be improved and maintained under the authority of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. Meanwhile, it has also been revealed that a large penalty fee is due to be paid to the ship transporting the gantry cranes to Sri Lanka, who is hindering the development at the East Container Terminal. Is depriving Sri Lanka of a valuable national asset that could increase capacity and attract more vessels their objective.
We urge that the East Terminal be improved and maintained under the authority of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. We urge President Rajapaksa to ensure that operations at the terminal will not be given to any foreign national company.
At a time when the country is riddled with the risk of losing the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port, still the MCC compact is in a debatable state. The government strictly states that the MCC compact will not be signed, but the MCC office is still there in Dehiwala. Hasn't the government told the United States to remove it? The government has decided necessary steps will be taken in the future. But there is no need to close any office at the time of the election, also when Corona still lingers in the island. No office operated in the past 3 months. We have decided as a government, we will make that decision public and will take the necessary steps in the future.
The green, blue and brown governments that came to power in Sri Lanka are like property brokers. During their political tenures, they try to sell valuable national assets of our country to powerful nations. Invaluable properties, ports were sold. The Rajapaksa-led government prior to 2015 gave valuable islands in Kalpiti to Qatar. About 100 acres of valuable land was given to a US-based company. It was during this period that land was given to China for the construction of the Shangri-La Hotel and Port City. The government led by Maithripala Sirisena and Ranil Wickremesinghe that was elected in 2015 continued the selling process. They sold the Hambantota port to China. Discussions were underway to give away the Matala airport and the Eastern Container Terminal to foreign factions as well. However, they were unable to proceed as their tenure expired. Now the present government is also continuing this. I saw Prasanna Ranatunga saying the management of the Matala airport will be given to India. In other words, they are trying to sell it. The airport will be given to India, the port will be given to China, and the land inside the country will be given to America. This is their plan. This is what the MCC plans to do as well. So we urge the public to be vigilant. No matter what the party is, all they did was sell national assets to powerful foreign nations.
මේගොල්ලෝ කරලා තිබෙන තමන්ගේ අවුරුදු 5ේදී ලෝකේ බලවත් රටවල් ඉස්සරහා අපේ දේපල විකුණපු එක.
The final report of the committee appointed to review the proposed Millennium Challenge Cooperation Agreement was handed over to the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The committee reviewed the MCC agreement for 6 months. The report has been compiled while considering views from different sectors. The Prime Minister's media division said the report will be handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa tomorrow and the report will be presented before Cabinet with recommendations made by the Prime Minister. The committee was appointed by the Prime Minister with the Cabinet approval and it was headed by Professor Lalita Siri Gunaruwan.
A final decision regarding the Millennium Challenge Corporation was not reached at the Standing Committee meeting of the ruling Nepal Communist Party today. The meeting got underway at the Prime Minister's official residence this afternoon. According to Surya Thapa, the Nepal Prime Minister's press advisor, the meeting revolved around the country's contemporary issues, including the government's efforts to prevent and contain novel coronavirus, Nepal's border issues with India, and the parliamentary ratification of US Millennium Challenge Compact, or MCC. The party leaders were expected to forge the party's firm opinion on the MCC deal signed with the United States. However, the meeting will continue on Friday. Farmers in North Chadua, Anuradhapura have nothing to do but abandon their cultivation lands due to the spread of an unidentified disease.
People in Pullambayagama, North Chadua in Anuradhapura earn a living through farming. They cultivated this season amidst many hardships, but all their effort and commitment has gone to waste.
There is no point. We have used everything we can, but it did not work. We have stopped our farming activities. All the plants are dying.
As the disease has spread across a large area of land, the farmers have done nothing but to look at their lands with no hope at all.
We do not know what this is. We thought this was a weed, but it's not. 10 to 12 acres of land have been destroyed as of now. The entire field will be destroyed in another few days. First, this was only spread in one part of the field, but as of now this has spread throughout the entire field. We have failed to find a way to curb this. We have left the paddy field. The farmers don't come to the field now.
The farmers say that they have tried everything possible to curb this, but all efforts have proven futile.
We're now going for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back.
London A-level students, complete your Edith Cowan University degree in 2 years in Sri Lanka and transfer for your masters to the top 100 universities in the world. ECU is ranked 9th in the world for quality education and 1st in Australia for starting salaries, with notable alumni such as Hugh Jackman, Dominic Parcell and Jai Courtney.
Welcome back to the news. Former Minister of Sports Mahindananda Aluthgamage provided a statement before the Special Investigation Unit that has been vested with investigative powers through the Prevention of Offences Relating to Sports Act. He provided a statement in connection to his recent remarks claiming that the finals of the 2011 ICC Cricket World Cup had been fixed.
Mahindananda Aluthgamage had made this revelation during the Newsline program hosted by News First. Investigative officers recorded a statement from the former sports minister at his office in Navalapitiya.
I provided all the information that I had in this regard to the police investigation unit. The complaint I filed today is 6 pages long. At the same time, I also handed over 8 documents to the investigation unit. I have a letter sent by the International Cricket Council to former Sports Minister Harin Fernando on the 23rd of December 2018. Alex Marshall, who heads the anti-corruption unit, is the one who had made this complaint. He informs the sports minister that the most number of match-fixing complaints concerning test-playing nations have been filed against Sri Lanka and that investigations are being carried out into this matter. On the 30th of October 2011, as a sports minister, I filed a complaint to the International Cricket Council. I handed over a copy of this document to the police investigation unit. I will not go into detail on whether the match in 2011 had been fixed. Across 9 pages, I have mentioned 24 suspicious reasons as to why we had lost the tournament. I attended the 2011 World Cup tournament. I observed the match. I felt suspicious. I received information regarding this and then informed the ICC about it. I prepared the relevant laws in the country. I made such a statement to draw the attention of the people towards this and to end such activities. Let us not talk about this in future. I regret to say that although I had clearly said that the players were not involved in this, some players had expressed their views in this regard. I received this letter only 2 weeks ago. You saw that this letter is private and confidential. Therefore, this was the letter in the ministry. I could speak about this only once I received it. We request the President and the Sports Minister to conduct an investigation into this within 3 months and to provide us a report.
මට මේක කියන්න පුළුවන් වුණේ එතකම් මට කියන්න හම්බුනේ නැහැ. අපි ජනාධිපතිතුමාගෙන් ඒ වගේම ගරු ක්‍රීඩා මාත්‍යතුමාගෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්නේ මාස 3ක් ඇතුළත මේ පරීක්ෂණය දාලා අපට වාර්තාවක් ලබා දෙන්න කියලා.
Meanwhile, Sports Minister Dalla Salha Peruma expressed the following views in this regard during a media briefing held today.
I wish to honestly state that there is no evidence to show that match fixing had taken place in 2011. However, this matter had been put forth by my companion Mahindananda Aluthgamage, who was the sports minister at that time. Former national cricketer Arjuna Ranatunga, who is a former minister, had also raised questions regarding this incident. Therefore, as the Sports Ministry, it is our responsibility to instruct our anti-corruption unit to investigate this. The unit was set up after I became Sports Minister in collaboration with the International Cricket Council. 5 days ago, we handed them the task of investigating this matter. This is a serious allegation. He might have certain details in his possession. Therefore, as the Sports Minister, it is my responsibility to see that this is investigated.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa attended an election campaign in the Kurunegala district yesterday.
The public gathering in Kuliyapitiya was organised by Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna candidate Samanpriya Herath.
There was a period where we were jailed for even eating. For 14 days, we were in jail without being granted bail. Political leaders got involved in low-class activities. I believe that when you come to a certain point in politics, when you become a secretary in a party, you should be able to think with a broader mind, or else you can't lead people. Let it be any political party, if something happens, there is no such thing as repairing.
The
majority of votes that were obtained for the first time could not be taken the second time, and by the fourth time he lost. And then he left all of that and came to Colombo. A new president has been given power. We have to appoint a team that will help him to do that.
Several meetings chaired by leader of the Samiki Jana Balawegya, Sajid Premadasa, was held in Colombo yesterday.
During the past few months, the government had printed money as much as possible, but nobody knows where the money was printed. If they printed so much of money, why haven't they given all families the 20,000 rupees allowance as suggested by us? You got the 5,000 rupee allowance only because we shouted. We will serve people even with or without power. We will eradicate racism and build a country with unity.
At
around 8:15 p.m., few moments before Sajid Premadasa arrived at the location, the power supply in the area was suspended. Somebody disconnected power. I do not know if this was done intentionally. Meanwhile, when the party members' meeting in Lanka commenced, the area experienced a power failure. I saw an entire convoy of vehicles which consisted of several police cars, 7 or 8 defenders, jeeps and around 40 to 50 other vehicles travelling from Kurunagala to Hettipola, blocking the entire road. This vehicular convoy belonged to the campaign of Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is contesting the parliamentary election from the Kurunagala district. This should be brought to the attention of the Elections Commissioner. It is imperative that we consider how many of these vehicles belong to him, a relative or close associate of his, and how many of them belong to the state. A couple of days ago, he visited Mirigama in a helicopter. Now, had Mahinda Rajapaksa privately rented out this helicopter, therefore it is best if we too are given vehicles which belong to the state. I express my disappointment and objection towards the Elections Commissioner for treating one person with one law and the other with another law. The United National Party, convening a press briefing earlier today, made the following revelation. As we speak, the Secretary to the President has interfered into the Inland Revenue Department's process of looking into income tax. We have a suspicion here. He has instructed them to look into around 600 files in detail. If they are going through these 600 files in particular, we have evidence to prove that a discussion was held at the Presidential Secretariat along with officials of the Inland Revenue Department, where it was decided to look into these files solely to find money needed for the election. We are aware that certain things happen to those who pay income tax, where certain interferences are made to take money out of them.
Let's now take a look at some of the views that were expressed in the political arena.
2020.
Listen carefully, there is no split. All 99 are on this side. Only ones who are to come are Ranil Wickremesinghe, Mr. Central Bank and Name Board. Prime Minister's chair is more important than the top chair of Sirikota. Ranil Wickremesinghe was ready to book the Sugadasa Indoor Stadium and for 1 million rupees and give them opportunity to select a presidential candidate. Against such a backdrop, they refused that offer and named their own candidate and lost. Due to the actions of that minority group, members of the UNP started suffering. There is a separate deal being struck here. They are scratching each other's backs. SLPP did not strike the deal. It was not the SLPP, but the good governance government who always attempted to defeat Sajid from the start. People who committed massive acts of corruption are asking whether we caught the perpetrators. They are still searching for Arjuna Mahendran. Why isn't anyone speaking about Ranil Wickremesinghe? No one will be able to run from this. People who are responsible will have to speak before the public. We will closely watch as to what action will be taken in this regard. They are shouting and panicking, saying that the Central Bank of Sri Lanka was robbed. But were the thieves caught? We would like it if they are caught. Those are thieves. Thieves should not be in politics. Is this a government that protects thieves? Is this a government that does not provide the promised concessions to the people? Is this a government who doesn't identify the plight of the people who have to make a decision?
The victory of the SLPP is being consolidated day by day. We will form a government with overall power in our side. The opposition is weakened because of the split between the UMP and Sajith Premadasa's factions.
රජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්තයාගේ පිලත් අතර තියෙන මේ මහා ගැටණිය නිසා අද ඊටාම දුර්වල තත්ත්වයකට විපක්ෂය පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Price of essential goods have increased. Against such a backdrop, what are they talking about? About the split between the telephone and the elephant. They have left the real problems of the country and forgotten about the bond scam. They have buried all the policy statements they presented at the beginning of the presidential race. We have not split. We have an advantage of 98-2. We were handed over an economy which was worse than Afghanistan. Industries had fallen. There was no investment coming into the country. Give us the two-thirds majority. We need a stable and a strong government. We need a government that can untangle this mess. The people will give us the power we need. They said they will work like Superman. For the first time in history, oil is at a very low price in the global market. They put all that money in the treasury. The problem was created by the treasury itself.
2020. Up next is our special segment leading up to the general election, Newsline.
ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ඉන්න සටන්කාමී മന്ത്രിවරේ කැලණියේ පොදු ජනතාවගේ හිතවතා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ ප්‍රසන්න රණවීර මන්ත්‍රීතුමා කොහොමද කැලණියේ ඡන්ද සටන
අපි We defeated the UNP at the last parliamentary election as well as the presidential election. Now there is a clear split in the UNP and I think our victory is certain due to that.
ඔබට තරඟ කරන්න වෙලා තියෙන ප්‍රතිවාදී අපේක්ෂකයා ෆීල්ඩ් මාර්ෂල් සරත් ෆොන්සේකා මැතිතුමා ලේසිද ඔහුත් එක්ක මේ ඡන්ද සටන
අද වෙන් වෙලා ඉන්න වෙලාවේ කිසිම අපිට අභියෝගයක් සහ තර්ජනයක් නැහැ.
කාගෙන්ද ඔබට අභියෝගයක් තියෙන්නේ?
මම හිතන
I have no challenge from the Gampaha district. If I could come second, that will only be after Prasanna Ranatunga.
There is a perception that intellectuals should go to the parliament. Dr. Nalaka Godeva is contesting with you. Don't you see a distinctive competition from him? Some say you became second after obtaining some votes meant for the person who came in first. Some claim that because Prasanna Ranatunga and Prasanna Ranavira sound alike and look the same, that confused people and helped you to get more votes.
That can happen, but people in Gampaha elevated me to the second place based on my earlier services to the people. So I don't think they have been misguided by the numbers. I was elected as the youngest ever MP to the Kalaniya Pradesh Sabha with 200 odd votes. Then I became the vice chairman in 2006 with more than 4,000 votes. I became the chairman in 2011 with the highest votes after I obtained 17,000 votes. Then I became the second in the Gampaha district at the 2015 election with more than 112,500 votes. I am very happy about my journey.
Some people make allegations against you saying that you protect drug peddlers and illicit liquor dealers. Sorry for saying this, but I sincerely hope that you will give an answer to the people.
Some might find it unsettling that the son of a labourer is a parliamentarian today, but we have opposed those people in Kalaniya from the start.
When Mahinda Rajapaksha lost the presidential election, it was Prasanna Ranavira who stood close to him. It was Prasanna Ranavira who protected him. But now people are saying that MR is surrounded by a lot of other people.
මහජනතාව කියනවා දැන් නම් ප්‍රසන්න රණවීර නැතත් එතුමාලා වටේ ගොඩක් අය ඉන්නවා කියලා.
නෑ එහෙම නෑ.
No, I don't think so. In his first official visit this time to India, they only took Prasanna Ranavira. We believe that the Rajapaksas will never make decisions that will harm our country.
අපේ තුල තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ
There are some Rajapakshas who changed their party as well. Are you saying that you were with them as well?
ඒ රාජපක්ෂවරු කියන්නේ ගිරුවාපත්තුවේ රාජපක්ෂලා මිසක මේ අනිත් රාජපක්ෂ නෙමෙයි.
Why are you standing by people without standing by a party or standing for policies?
නෑ අපි
No, we were with the policies of the party. When the SLFP was taken to the Good Governance government, it was only Mahinda Rajapaksa who stood by the policies of the party. It was he who preserved those policies and formed the SLPP.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය දැන් ඉන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදු ජන පෙරමුණත් එක්ක. විරසකයක් නෑනේ.
They are just a shareholder. Many people join our party when an alliance is formed, but they are only a shareholder or a partner.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂ පංකාරයේ කොටස්කාරයේ බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙන එච්චර.
කනගාටුව.
Are you not sad to call the SLFP, the party you started your journey with, a mere shareholder?
පංගුකාරයෙක් විතරයි කියලා හැල්ලුවට ලක් කරන්න.
ඇත්තටම කනගාටුයි. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂ මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් විදියට අපි ඇවිල්ලා මේ ආපු ගමන් මග
අර
Karuna Amman has said that he has murdered thousands of army officers in one night. You were with the war heroes. What is your stance on this?
මරන්න උන්ට ඔහුට හැකි වුණා කියලා. ඔබ මොන වගේ අදහසක්ද? ඔබ හිටියේ රණවිරුවොත් එක්ක.
අපි කරුණාගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ පිළිබඳව වෙනම මතයක ඉන්නවා ඒක වැරදි කියන තැන අපි ඉන්නවා ප්‍රකාශ කිරීම සම්බන්ධව.
හිටපු මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි කෙලින්ම කියන්න පැකිලෙන්නේ කරුණා එහෙම කිව්වනම් වැරදි කියලා.
කරුණා එහෙම කිව්වනම් වැරදි.
We do not accept Angulimala, but when Angulimala was ordained, we accepted him. We clearly state if Karuna is becoming the Angulimala once again, we do not agree with that.
අපි එතන නෑ කියන එක තමයි අපි බොහොම පැහැදිලිව කියන්නේ.
ඔබට මතක නම්
You may remember how your opponent, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, was taken away by the military after the election for the white flag case.
මැතිවරණයෙන් පස්සේ සිදුණු සිදුවීම්වලදී උස්සගෙන ගෙනිච්ච ඇවිල්ලා හමුදාවේ
නෑ පැහැදිලිවම එක දවසින් මේක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නෑනේ.
CID-ට එන්න
කට උත්තර එන්න කියලා කට උත්තරයක් අරන් එහෙම ක්‍රමවේදයක් තියෙනවනේ. ක්‍රමවේදය කලබල වෙන්න එපා සුරංග.
කලබල නෑ.
නෑ කලබල වෙන්න එපා. හැබැයි ක්‍රමවේදයට අනුව වැඩේ වෙයි.
ඔබත් හිතනවාද ඉන්දියාවට ලෝක කුසලාන ක්‍රිකට් තරඟාවලිය වික්කා කියලා?
I am also a sportsman. Arjuna Ranatunga expressed his opinion. Sangakkara and Mahel expressed a different opinion. Now the ICC is looking into this matter as well. As a sportsman and a sports fan, I will not accept it.
ඔබතුමා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ විශ්වාස කරනවාද? ඔබතුමා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ පිළිගන්නවා. ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය හොඳයිද?
හොඳයි.
එහෙනම්
If so, why did you throw chili powder at other politicians in parliament where democracy was supposed to be practiced?
උදර මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට මිරිස්කුඩු ගැහුවා.
අනිත් පැත්ත ඔබ
You must see the other side of the picture. Ranjan Ramanayak and Palitha Tevara Peruma brought knives into the parliament chamber. This is not an action that complements democracy either. Do you agree with the manner in which the speaker behaved at that point? We were not elected to parliament to simply raise our hands for everything. During the 52-day government, we carried out various duties. It was the second day since the 52-day parliament was established.
ක්‍රියාදාමකම් වලට යෙදුණා. දින 52 ආණ්ඩුවේ දින දෙවෙනි දවසේ.
කතානායකතුමා
If the speaker violated principles of democracy, if other MPs brought knives and went against democracy, did Prasanna Ranavira throw chilies at other politicians to protect democracy?
තන්ත්‍රවාදයේ කැඩුවනම් ප්‍රසන්න රණවීර ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය ආරක්ෂා කරන්නද මිරිස්කුඩු ගැහුවේ?
Now tell me, when knives are brought in, should I retaliate by chanting Pirit? I said to use minimum force that was available at that point as self-defense.
ඒ වෙලාවේ මට කරන්න තිබ්බ එච්චරයි මම ඒ දේ කරා.
ඒ කියන්නේ ගෙදර ඉඳලම ඔබ මිරිස්කුඩු
නෑ එතන අපි එහෙන් මට අතලා වුණ එකෙන් තමයි ඒක කවුරු ගෙනාවද කියලා මම දන්නේ.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු සභාවේ මිරිස්කුඩු තිබුණා.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු කරා මේ මිරිස් කියන්නේ කවුරු හරි පුද්ගලෙක් ගෙනල්ලා තිබ්බ එතන කෝපයක් තිබ්බා ඒකෙන් අපි ගැහුවේ.
ඔබතුමාලා
During the run-up to the election, your faction said the MCC agreement will not be signed at any cost. What is the situation now?
වියත්මගත් කිව්වා. අපි අත්සන් කරන්නේ ඉරනවා කියලා. දැන් තත්ත්වෙම.
අපි අදලා තියෙන වැරදි කියලා. අපි එදා විරුද්ධ නම් අපි අදාට විරුද්ධයි.
මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි.
So if the government does not want the MCC, why is the country office still there?
මේක තමයි. අපි කරන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒක ඇමරිකාවෙන් තමයි ආන්න ඕනේ. ඔබලා මොකටද මේ කාර්යාලය තියන් ඉන්නේ?
මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි.
If a house is not being constructed on your land, why should constructors and bassers take shelter at the construction site?
බාස්ලා ඉන්නේ මොකටද ඒ වාඩි?
ගයක් හදාගන්න බැරි වුණොත් අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා එහෙම තැන් කොච්චර තියෙනවද?
බාසුන හැලට ඉන්න දෙනවා.
බාසු
Sometimes the bassers and the construction workers will have to remain idle. But if we don't have funds or legal approval to construct the house, what else can we do?
නැත්නම් වැඩක් නෑනේ.
So your point is the government will not approve the signing of the agreement, but the MCC country office can remain as it is? So what you are saying is anyone can come to Sri Lanka and establish their presence here. Where is the sovereignty?
We are of the view that the laws should be reformed. Their intention may be to get approval for the signing of the MCC, but we will not sign the MCC. I came in second last time from the Gampaha district. I hope to retain the same position. I believe I will get more votes this time. First will be Prasanna Ranatunga. There should be a purpose for all leaders.
ප්‍රසන්න රණවීර මන්ත්‍රීතුමා කියන්නේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ රැකගන්න තමයි ඔහු සටන් කරන්නේ කියලා. එදා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න තමයි මිනිස්සුන් ගැහුවේ කියලා. අපි බලන් ඉදිමු ප්‍රසන්න රණවීර මන්ත්‍රීතුමා ජයග්‍රහණය කළොත් මේ රටේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය රකින්න මොනවා
The Constitutional Council has approved President's nominees Dr. Rani Jayamaha and Samantha Kumarasinghe to be appointed to the Monetary Board of the Central Bank. Meanwhile, the Central Bank has approved loans worth 28 billion rupees at 4% among 13,861 businesses that have been affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. Issuing a statement, the Central Bank said that loans worth 14.8 billion rupees had been disbursed among 7,274 affected businesses island-wide as of the 24th of June. These loans have been issued at a 4% interest rate with a grace period of 6 months and a repayment period of 24 months. The Central Bank added that it is ready to provide another 120 billion rupees at a concessionary rate of 1% to commercial banks in order to be disbursed among affected businesses. And with that, we're going for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back. Welcome back. Around 10 dogs have been found dead of mysterious circumstances in the Alutweva area in Galewela. 80 residents suspect the dogs have been poisoned.
Residents said the dogs in the Alutweva village had mysteriously died this afternoon. The dogs were household pets. The villagers said their pets were found dead in various locations after bleeding from their mouths. They suspect the deaths may have been caused by poisoning.
තේරිලා මේ බලනකොට සේරම බල්ලෝ ටික මැල්ලේ පාරේ වැටිලා ඉන්නවා කියලා පණිවිඩාව බල්ලෝ දෙන්න. එක බල්ලෙක් මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා වැටිලා හිටියා අනිත් එක්කෙනා අර කඩේ ළඟ පාරේ වැටිලා හිටියා. ඉතින් ඇස් වලින් කන් වලින් ලේ වගේ මතුවෙනවා.
Our correspondent said the cause of sudden deaths remain unknown. He said the villagers have been informed to report to the police tomorrow.
An independent candidate representing the Kurunegala district at this year's election convened a media briefing today. In a surprising turn of events, the candidate had turned up at the briefing with a snake.
Independent candidate RMSP Hunukumbura, who would be contesting the parliamentary election under the symbol of the spider, identified himself as an innovator. The candidate claimed that he had taken several measures to prevent the abuse and ill treatment of animals.
මොකද බා මේ කරන්නේ උඹ මේ කෙලිය මට නම් මෙතන ඉඳන් කරන්න බෑ අද ඔක කමන්නේ මගේ මයික් එක ඉදින් කරාම මේ පැත්තෙන් ඉදින් කරන්න කොහෙද අර යන්නේ කොහෙද දැන් බඩු වෙනවා මම මේවර මහමැතිවරණ ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා තිනවා මේ මහමැතිවරණ
I have nominated myself for the parliamentary election. I have invented more than 14 products and have won gold medals internationally. However, the political authorities and state officials have neglected me. People like me must be formed in the society. I can leave this country, but if I do so, I will be carrying with me the knowledge that I gain through the free education system and my innovations. If these activities are industrialized, funds will flow to the grassroots of the economy. I am doing this to integrate students who have failed O-level exams into the society. My aim is to improve the economy at its grassroots. This is the 595th snakes that I have bought under my possession. Yesterday I removed this snake from a home. These animals have come towards me as a result of the problems they are facing. However, I will treat these animals properly and release them back into their habitat. There are some animals like this in Parliament. If I win this election, I will use my intelligence and then trap these animals. This time I will win more than 60% of the votes from postal voting. If possible, stop me from doing that. This is a challenge. I like to confront animals. I have been bitten by snakes 5 times. I ended up in the ICU thrice. I hold the record of being the only individual who rose up after falling unconscious. Staying with thieves is no big deal as I stay with animals. There are several snakes at my house.
19 head jailers attached to major prisons in the country were transferred with immediate effect.
Acting Commissioner General of Prisons, Tushar Upuldeniya, said this move was taken as a part of a program to crack down on various illegal activity taking place inside prisons. A prison officer attached to the Busa prison was interdicted and handed over to the police after he made an attempt to assist in providing heroin to an incarcerated inmate. Acting Commissioner General of Prisons, Tushar Upuldeniya, said the officer was nabbed following an inquiry led by the Busa prison superintendent. The Department of Prisons launched a separate investigation into the incident.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said today the world owed the Soviet Union a debt of gratitude for its contribution to the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. The Russian leader made the comments at the beginning of a massive military parade through Red Square in Moscow to mark the 75th anniversary of the Soviet Union's victory in World War II.
The president was forced to postpone the country's traditional 9th of May Victory Day celebrations due to the coronavirus pandemic, but it was the first mass event rescheduled by the Kremlin after it eased lockdown measures. Many foreign leaders chose to stay away from the rescheduled event, but leaders of several former Soviet states were in attendance. Putin himself is surrounded by veterans who had to be quarantined for 14 days at a health resort outside of Moscow.
Уважаемые граждане России, the traditional Victory Day celebrations in Russia are held on June 24th. 75 years ago, here at the walls of the Kremlin, a legendary victorious parade was held. We will do all we can so that the memory of your heroic feats never fades. This is the duty of our consciousness and the responsibility of the present and the future. Glory to the generation which defeated Nazism. Glory to the heroes of the patriotic war.
Слава героям Отечественной войны! Ура!
Victory Day in Russia is celebrated on the 9th of May and is the country's second most popular public holiday after New Year's Day. Victory Day in Russia commemorates millions of people who lost their lives in the Second World War, known in Russia as the Great Patriotic War, and honors the bravery of Russian soldiers and Russian people, on the whole, whose heroism saved the country from Nazi invaders. Victory Day in Russia is a sacred holiday for Russians who often say that there is not a single family in the country who did not lose someone at that war. Most Russians view the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945 as one of the great achievements in their history. The parade itself has been expanded. All told, more than 14,000 troops are taking part in this year's ceremony in Red Square. This year's parade also has international contingents with troops from India, Mongolia, China and former Soviet republics of Central Asia taking part, among others. The Russian military previously said that they were isolated for rehearsals and have been tested for COVID-19.
And up next is Action TV.
According to the Electricity Act, the construction of a power plant by the Ceylon Electricity Board is considered to be an act of purchasing power. The law requires the CEB to call for competitive bids while purchasing power. This provision does not apply only when the government obtains a loan from another government to construct a power plant, when the country's main power plant has experienced a breakdown, or when an emergency situation arises in the country. Accordingly, choosing a Chinese company for the construction of the fourth power plant in Norotchole without calling for competitive bids is a violation of the Electricity Act. Therefore, the project cannot be approved by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka. Against such a backdrop, these were the views expressed by the CEB chairman yesterday.
There are certain methods under which power can be purchased under the Act. One is to call for competitive bids, the second is government to government, and the third is to purchase it during an emergency situation. The directive issued over this is to make the purchase considering the coronavirus pandemic and the power crisis in the country. There are issues with regard to the legal fees. However, I think you can see the need to carry out the project in line with the legal framework. Therefore, the government cannot do this by breaching the laws.
The government, which did not consider the coronavirus as a threat to conduct the election, had, however, determined that there is a power crisis in the country. Action TV had previously exposed that the manner in which a lawyer had been chosen in a controversial manner to draft a proposed joint venture agreement involving the CEB and a Chinese company that had been chosen without a bidding process. The CEB chairman expressed the following views regarding the agreement between the lawyer and the CEB.
The agreement outlines a few steps. For the initial preparation, 900,000 rupees is to be paid. We are still in that stage. Then a term sheet must be prepared. I don't have the cost for the term sheet now. Nevertheless, the next phase is drafting the power purchase agreement, coal power agreement and other documents. So we have to make the payments gradually based on these steps. The total fee stands at around 6 million for this. The remainder of the payment is for the D-rate expenses if there are ongoing negotiations.
If the task of drafting a power purchasing agreement is among the responsibilities vested with the lawyer in question, that would mean that the CEB will not have ownership over the fourth power plant after it has been constructed at Norotchole. Further, the power generated by the plant will have to be purchased by the CEB from the Chinese company. Against such a backdrop, whether legal advice is required for a project that deceives the people and is contrary to the Electricity Act remains a question. During yesterday's media briefing, questions had been raised regarding the services provided by this lawyer previously.
The lawyer would not have been recommended if his service had failed. In the past, there was a project committee. There were 10 people in this committee. Which service had been unsuccessful? Can you provide us an example? I am not aware of that. It is sad to note that you fail to look at the bigger picture.
If the chairman of the CEB needs to look at the bigger picture, all he needs to do is to study the reports published by the Committee on Public Enterprises.
And that is a wrap of Newsfirst Primetime News. Thank you very much for watching. We leave you tonight with this rendition of the Nagitimo Sri Lanka song. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Shahan Jurampati alongside Brandy Cruz. Good night and take care.
Time for us to hope and pray and heal our motherland.
We must unite and march ahead. Arise, Sri Lankans now. Sri Lanka, rise up, Sri Lanka. Nagitimu Sri Lanka, api nagitimu Sri Lanka.
Gammadda, Nagitimu Sri Lanka.